Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. And that was Cassie. I tried to get Tabby Boy, but he saw the clapboard and he ran under my bed. So, like my suit, and this isn't even one of Daddy's ties, but you didn't tune in for my fashion. I am going to talk to you guys about the latest New Jersey COVID restrictions and statistics, and I have gotten a variety of sources here, including WOND Radio, WPG Radio, NewJersey.com, NorthJersey.com, and a few others. And my information is as current as this week, yesterday, and today. First of all, New Jersey has not had a day with more than 20 deaths since July 28th. Guess what? We had 21 COVID deaths yesterday. If you haven't heard, Governor Murphy is starting at 10 p.m. Thursday. Restaurants in bars and the casinos, they can't serve indoors anymore. It's going to be outdoor only, and indoors it says restaurants must stop serving food and beverages indoors at 10 p.m. Outdoors, it's not going to affect the takeout in the outdoors, but no service between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. and no more seating at the bar indoors. Apparently, that's too dangerous. So, and I'm going to have to look at the notes here. So far, 251 Atlantic City casino employees have tested positive for COVID-19, and 60% of them have tested positive since the start of October. We are definitely having a coronavirus spike, so I would encourage you guys to please be careful, especially those of you who are planning on doing any traveling. Yeah, nobody should be traveling right now unless absolutely necessary, but there are times when that is necessary, especially when there's political upheaval going on because Democrats are stealing elections. So we are considering this to be a devastating 6-month high as far as COVID statistics in the state of New Jersey. This week, an average of 2,000, no, as of last week, an average of 2,000 people a day are getting COVID-19. But now it has been changed to, can I read my own writing here? Now, an average of 2,568 cases of COVID a day. And that is a 55% increase from 1 week ago. And it is a 233% increase from a month ago. It's really getting scary and hitting close to home, even though I have not seen any evidence that people are taking it all that seriously in my neighborhood. On an unrelated note, I know you guys don't care about my tech problems, but for some reason I have a big banner ad on the bottom of my screen, and it's followed me from Hotmail and from the MSN homepage. And I know if I installed an ad blocker, I'd get rid of the problem. But unfortunately, if I had an ad blocker installed, it would cause problems with some of the day job sites that I work on. They would say that if I couldn't see ads, then it would be like I was committing an act of fraud or something. And I need that income stream. So I'm going to have to deal with the ad down here some other way. So what do you guys think of the COVID? It's at least the restaurants weren't forbidden from serving, period, but it's really causing serious economic hardships here. So many people, even people I know personally, are employed in the restaurant industry, and they cannot make a profit at only having 25% of their seating. That's just not feasible. So if you guys can afford it, if you can patronize restaurants that are doing takeout and delivery just to help out the economy. This also means that they are not going to be serving the beverages to the people playing in the casinos. The casinos will not be closed. The gaming will still go on. The casinos are still open 24 hours a day. You just have to wear a mask, and you can't expect any beverage service with your belly up to a slot machine or whatever. It's just they don't think that there's a safe way to drink beverages and still wear a mask, even though I've seen masks that have holes for straws on them and have a Velcro fastener and stuff. I don't know how good they are compared to a real N95, that said. And I was told by one of my viewers that they actually have N99s that more medical workers get. So, but this is really, really giving me cause for concern, and it should make you guys a little scared too. Another thing that I'm looking at here, New Jersey has had 260,430 positive cases of COVID since March. We've had more than 5 million tests administered. The death toll so far is 16,461 died of COVID in the state of New Jersey. That is 14,661 confirmed and 1,800 probable. You probably know that many people with comorbidities, no matter what it is that actually killed them, the statistics usually credit it as COVID when COVID may not have been that big a factor. So you really have to kind of look at the figures with a grain of salt here. And not all comorbidities are of equal seriousness. So it's really hard to say exactly what kills some of these people. Hi, Emmanuel. Oh, just so you know, in order so that I could see some of what you guys are saying, I had to have the text reduced on this, and it's even smaller. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for me reading what you guys have to say. Oh, and I'm getting a little overheated in this suit. I put an extra layer on underneath the shirt, and usually I have no problem tying a tie, but for some reason today I kept on screwing up, and I kept on screwing up, and I finally did it. You know, there are nobody else in the house that could help me tie a man's tie, so I had to figure it out myself. I think at one point I watched some instructional videos on YouTube. Hi, Shar, how you doing? Let's see when Tabby Boy emerges. I tried to bribe him with some more treats. These cats have gotten so. What's new in AC? COVID. Uh, but unfortunately, or not fortunately, there are still reasons why people need to travel. So on that note, you guys have I have some things that I want to give you a little bit of a hint you can look forward to. Thursday, the theme is going to be on packing for a short trip. And Saturday, I don't know where I'm going to be broadcasting from. Saturday, I might not be here in AC, but I don't want to tip off locals that might narc me off to people. I don't know exactly how they can go about disciplining people for travel. I don't know, but I'm going to play it by ear because my conscience is telling me that there is someplace I need to be. And I'm just going to try to be as safe as possible. You know what? I'm going to put the fan on so that I can get comfortable. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I even really feel that. If I have it on too hard, it's just going to make a big mess. So I'm going to put this closer to the wall so that I can give a closer look. And this is my birthday suit, just so you know. I call it my birthday suit because it was given to me last year on my birthday when I celebrated at Bally's Casino Sportsbook, and where I placed a bet on my beloved family Steelers. And I learned that you can turn $5 into $9.75. So, and I haven't placed a sports book bet since. And now I'm waiting on seeing what's going on with football and if they're going to continue the social justice warrior bullshit. I can't subsidize something that bothers me politically, and the whole idea of men running around with helmets with the names of common thugs, as if that's something to be celebrating. That's really shameful. When I think of the victims of that rapist, whatever Blake, I don't care to know his name too well. You'd be getting a top end room at Caesars. Yeah, I'm really struggling to see the lettering. If I make the text a normal size, and what will happen is the button that I would use to control turning the screen on and off, I can't access it. As it is, I'm going to have to make the text even smaller when I'm finally ready to close this. I don't understand what's up with the banner ads. I'm probably going to have to call Best Buy and ask them about it, and I'll probably have to have a remote diagnostics. That's the great thing about having their total tech support, even though it sucks getting charged for it every month. But not everybody can be a tech expert, and it's nice to know that I can call, even though the tech support isn't 24 hours a day like it used to be. And since I keep such late hours, sometimes I would actually be needing tech service at 3 in the morning. But I got to accept that they probably have cut down on hours, possibly due to COVID or whatever. I can't explain why. Damn, it's hot in here. Hot, hot, hot. I don't know why I thought that this would... I was actually cold enough to wear a sweatshirt around the house. Now, another piece of news I heard was the state of Maryland is having travel restrictions. I don't know whether it's they don't want people leaving the state or whether they don't want people entering the state. Yeah, I'm on early tonight because I need to start going to bed earlier because of things that I have planned later on this week. I don't want to spoil the surprise. I'm still not 100% sure I'm going to pull off something I want to do. I think that it's rather disingenuous to talk about being so concerned about COVID and yet be contemplating doing something that are decidedly unsafe. So many people around me don't seem like they're taking this seriously, and so many people around me, maybe they are, but they're still going on with their lives. And I feel that I have to go out and take a chance. Now, if something happens that I need to quarantine someplace that's not my home afterwards for a while, then I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I hope that that's not going to happen. First of all, because I know that if that were to happen, there would be some health consequences. And frankly, I don't know where they have people go if they do end up getting it, if they can't go home and they can't stay in a hotel room. I don't believe they just put them up in a hospital somewhere. I think they're kind of shit out of luck. I don't know. I mean, they've got to think about where do you send people if they can't go back to their roommates because they've tested positive. There's got to be some affordable option here. And but I'm... And also, I need to find out about more testing places. As far as I know, the one reliable main COVID testing place closest to me is on Dolphin Avenue in the city called Northfield. I don't know whether it is, whether you have to make an appointment, or I believe it's not just people in cars. I believe it is a place that you go in. Okay, Emmanuel, you said you will be in a jacuzzi smoking a fat cigar and drinking champagne. I am nervous about things like Greyhound buses, and I'm nervous about how it might be in places like Washington, D.C. That said, Washington, D.C. hosts lots of large gatherings, demonstrations, parties. I understand there's been a lot of people whooping it up, happy that Biden might be our next president. even though I'm also seeing that they're finding more and more evidence of voter fraud, and our our Attorney General, is definitely concerned about the things going on in the state of Wisconsin. So another thing that I was going to do at the end of this week, another one of my local friends, he was going to make me a birthday cake, and there was going to be something going on up kind of near where the Ocean Hotel Casino is. But all of a sudden I heard him making a post on Facebook about how one of his friends died, and he's going to a funeral Thursday, and something tells me that I'm not going to get to go and have any kind of a party at his place um, this week. Now, it's supposed to rain tomorrow and the next day. That's another thing. After I get done this live stream, I have to run up to Tropicana. One thing that is good about living in a casino town, if you have a large bill and you know that you're going to have to spend it where maybe they don't accept large bills, you can always break large bills in the casino cage. And that's also a handy place to get. Well, now I keep on hearing about this coin shortage. Normally, that would be a place that you could get coins. Luckily, I have been hoarding coins for bus fare for quite a while, and it's always good to have exact change on you if you happen to be making a cash purchase, because I'm hearing that there are a lot of businesses that are trying to not give away change. I'm hearing they're doing this in 7-Elevens. Uh, Heck, I know how I feel when the dollar store tries to say that a 99-cent thing's a dollar, and I know that 99 and 99 is $1.98, and they don't want to give me change for $2. I want my pennies. They don't think that it matters something to many people, but some people, yes, I want my pennies. I know how long it takes me to make money on some of those day job sites. Some days are worse than others, but anyway, I would think that the coin shortage should have been rectified by now. Now, they say that toilet paper is really not the thing that people should stock up on so much. But they're saying that now, what I think people should do, and I mean, I don't have a medical degree, I'm not in the medical field, but I think people should try to get really decent face masks that'll actually do some good. And I don't mean that silly little surgical mask that I posed for the first picture, whatever picture you guys are going to see. I don't know whether, I guess you do see the picture already. But anyway, I would really recommend getting a real N95 or the N99 if you can get it. Now, there was another mask that I was looking at that I was intrigued by, a very high-tech and expensive device made in Canada. But when I read the fine print, I found out that it's not as effective as the N95. So now, when you say alcohol is tough to come by, are you talking about rubbing alcohol, or are you talking the drinking variety? That reminds me, I'm going to have to bring some, if say I was planning on going someplace, I'm going to take some of that bleach spray cleaner, and I'm going to spray some paper towels, and I'm going to pack them in a Ziploc bag so that if I have to wipe off some park benches, I'm thinking of some interesting content that I would like to film. I want to focus on some safety tips if you find yourself in situations kind of caused by poverty and you have to take certain chances, how to make yourself safe for doing that. I think it's important to try to produce content that will actually be helpful to people, and you might not think that you need certain safety tips now, but sometimes fortunes in life change, and you might remember, oh, I saw this chick had some hints about what to do in case of X, Y, and Z. I know that some of, okay, one thing, okay, back to the rubbing alcohol thing. I noticed the dollar store started getting funny and selling the 50% rubbing alcohol, which is not strong enough to kill germs. You really need at least 60% rubbing alcohol. I'm going to make sure that I have those little tiny squares that are used to clean off the skin before injections and stuff. That's still alcohol, and that still could be used to wipe your hands off, to touch surfaces like opening doors and things, or even one of the things I have to always remember to do if I'm using my computer to film and I have to set it down on a trash can or something for a tripod, I always clean off the bottom of the computer and anything it touches. I wonder how you can adequately, I have never made a purchase on Amazon yet. I feel like I'm the only human being that hasn't, but from what I have observed, on anything I ever searched for, the prices really were not that impressive. And if the whole idea, I thought the whole reason why people shopped on Amazon was because it was so cheap and you could get things shipped really quickly. Probably most of the people that shop on it a lot have invested in a Prime membership, but I can't see uh, paying for a membership just to get free shipping. I maybe it would be worth it if you really shopped a whole lot, but if the prices aren't all that good, why would you shop a lot on that? I think if you're willing to invest a little bit more effort, you can find other places to shop online, maybe places that specialize in some of the kind of things you're interested in, and but then you're dealing with longer shipping times. I love to shop on that wish.com site, and you're waiting a good month for things. There are things that I was hoping I would have gotten by now, and I'm really kind of impatient about. I had more Trump masks that I ordered and more sequin fancy masks for nightclub wear that I think I would probably put a surgical mask underneath. I tried folding up a coffee filter in thirds, putting it underneath my sequin mask when I wore for my birthday, but I found that the extra filter just shifted around. It didn't stay put. Maybe next time I'll use safety pins and make it so that the liner doesn't shift. But then if I do that, I'm making a hole in it that would allow the virus particles to come through. So maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. Maybe it would be better for me to use tape or something. Well, as far as gambling problems go, I'm going to have to guess that the people who get the most comp rooms and stuff, you don't get comps for nothing. The casinos are going to reward the people that patronize them the most. And because I live in a town where so many of the people who live here are employed in the hospitality industry, and I don't want to say anything about the industry that, heck, my mother worked at the Trump Taj Mahal for 16 years, and that paid our rent. And a lot of the people that, when she was a cashier at the buffet, most of those people probably were serious gamblers. So my brother has a gambling issue. Sure, it's a problem. Uh, I've seen people's compulsive gambling, and if there's nothing else to do, they'll play lottery. And I've seen stacks of used up lottery tickets. And but maybe there are people that just like to gamble a lot, and they, for I don't, their financial wherewithal is not my business. And if they see gambling as entertainment, and if it's not hurting their lives, I'm certainly not going to judge. I have friends who really like to play the table games and gamble and stuff, and I'm going to keep an open mind. But I will say that yes, it is an addictive thing. I I choose not to be judgmental about things like that. It's really there's a gray area when you live in a in an industry town, and I know what a blessing it was to. I want to answer that question. I know what a blessing it is to have an industry that employs so many people. Before we got casinos here in Atlantic City, I remember how hard my father was working during the summertime, and we had a convention industry that was mostly in the warmer weather months, and you had to learn to make that money last the rest of the year, and it's really not easy. And at least having a year-round industry, it really helps. It employs so many people. That said, the mafia really did, the mafia likes to get their hands in whoever has money. But when the casinos first came to town, we had this casino control commission. It was extremely, extremely strict. Resorts International was our first casino. And I remember when people fill out applications to work in any position, but especially when they worked in the casino floor, they had background checks. It was so strict. They interviewed not only the person applying for the job, but family members, friends. They really worked so hard to try to avoid even the appearance of ties to organized crime. I'll give you a little factoid here. You guys remember Rocky Aoki? He was the head of the Benihana uh, Chinese food chain. Well, he was friends with Hugh Hefner of Playboy, and Hugh Hefner had Playboy Hotel Casino here in town. He unfortunately had ended up losing his casino license because he was friends with Rocky Aoki that allegedly had some kind of mafia ties. And maybe when you're as successful as he is, it would be impossible not to have friends in all kinds of interesting places. But for that reason, Hefner had to sell the Playboy Casino, and then the Playboy Hotel Casino turned into the Atlantis. I have great fondness of the cabanas on the beach in front of the Atlantis. I learned to play quarters there when I was a bit underage, but not as underage as I could have been. And the person that taught me how to play was younger than me. So, not exactly bragging rights. I won't name the name of the person, but I think the person that taught me to play quarters watches my videos sometimes. So, and is now a bartender. So, all these people in these industries that are being obviously seriously affected by COVID and the restrictions, but I guess there's probably no safe way to have seating in bars indoors now. I'm seeing, though, more and more clubs are having seating for the bars in their parking lots. That's how, for instance, the Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall is handling it. There was another club not too far from there that had a free show last weekend. The club was called Boo-Ray, and I was almost thinking of going, but I wasn't sure whether they had a concert promoter that may have been the one that my brother is sometimes a doorman, and if my brother was going to be working the door, I wouldn't have gotten in anyway. Even though if it's a free thing, they shouldn't be having restrictions on who can get in. Anyway, I decided not to go, and a lot of it was to concern about people hanging out and about the COVID. I really don't go. Um, I don't really take chances. At least I do my best not to take chances. I can't help it if people will not stay at least 6 feet away, and they still look at me like I'm funny when I express concern for being too exposed to other people. And I say, look, I'm worried about my mother. Whatever chances I might not care as much about for myself, I certainly can't afford to get her exposed. So yeah, Gambino family. Uh, Oh, in the early 80s, is that what you said? Well, in the I guess so. That was I was pretty self-absorbed then that was, well, in the mood for some blackjack. A lot of people are gambling online, but the thing is that if you're going to gamble online, it's better to at least use one of the Atlantic City casino sites to do it rather than the offshore things, because the offshore things, they don't help the city out any. And at least if you go on Caesars.com or Tropicana AC or whichever site, you are still helping our local economy. Or you could actually come here and get a room. Oh, another thing I was told with Bally's, anybody that has a membership to their players club, they used to be open in the middle of the week. Now it's weekends only. So those of you who get comp rooms there, unless your room is on the weekend, you're not going to be able to use your player lounge to get your free drinks and free food and stuff. If I'm squinting, it's because it's really hard for me to read those this tiny print. You know what? I'm going to get my Ben Franklin so I can see. Oh, I get to read what you guys. You know which casino seems to have jacuzzis in it? Yeah, okay. Bally's, I saw what looked like a jacuzzi in their bathroom. I heard it was supposed to be in the early middle 70s today. I don't think the high got past 66. I was almost thinking of going out, take a look on the boardwalk, maybe do some filming. I would like to start using more of my little camcorder, but I never got to look at the footage of my friend Malcolm Tent when I was at the Borgata. I haven't been to the Borgata. Last time I was to Borgata was to see Joe Perry of Aerosmith do a solo show. And a couple of years before that, I saw King's X play at a place called the Music Box. But I used to go to, there is a noodle bar called Noodles of the World, NOW, that's off the casino floor in the Borgata, and they're quite wonderful. Expensive, but wonderful. It's been probably 2 or 3 years since the last time I was at the Borgata. For a while there, that was my favorite of our casinos, partly because it felt much more resort-like than the casinos that were on the boardwalk. That said, I really enjoy Golden Nugget a lot. One of the things I love about Golden Nugget is the Flashback Fridays club series that they would have on Fridays. Normally, it would be going on starting this time of year, but since concert seating indoors is frowned upon by Governor Murphy and the COVID. That said, there are some of the casinos on the marina have been having outdoor concerts. There was an Aerosmith tribute that was, I believe, at Harrah's, and it was for being a tribute band. They were still charging $44, and this was in September. I found out like a month afterward when I was using some old AC weeklies to dry my laundry on, and that's how I saw. I was surprised that they were having concerts. I thought that they were really cutting down, if not eliminating completely, concerts because of transmission of COVID. Uh, so I don't know. When I was at the beer hall, I noticed that the kind of picnic table seating, there were still groups of people that were talking loudly, sitting up against each other. And while sure, maybe they all lived in the same household, I seriously doubt it. Is it far if you walk from the boardwalk? Well, okay. Interesting that you mentioned this. If you go all the way to past where the lighthouse is, you know how there is Resorts International, then there's Hard Rock Casino, then there's the ocean, and that's up at the end of the north end of the Absecon Island. Now, if you're on the boardwalk around there, if you keep on going past States Avenue, past New Hampshire Avenue, past Main Avenue, the boardwalk keeps on going. When Hurricane Sandy came with all the water and wind and all that, a lot of the boardwalk was damaged. I used to live up in the inlet, not too far from the lighthouse, but even closer to the very end of it, close to the seawall. I used to live in not the last street, but the street before the last street. And I saw big chunks of the boardwalk washed away, or the top part that you would walk on blown away. And until fairly recently, it took them quite a while to repair the boardwalk. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is you can, or you could, walk on the boardwalk all the way up to a place called Gardner's Basin. Gardner's Basin is on the edge of the bay, and across the bay is where the marina casinos are. New casino in Atlantic City. Um, why don't I know this? There is, unless there's a place that is a boutique hotel and it does not have a casino license. I know the Showboat used to be a hotel casino, but it is now a boutique hotel. Briefly, they were considering letting it be used as dormitory space for Stockton University, but they, in their infinite wisdom, realized that to have 22-year-olds, which are basically still kids, that close to a casino, when even if they're over 21, they may have boyfriends or girlfriends that are underage. And really, to have people that young staying that close to a casino is maybe not the wise idea. And even if you're not worrying about their gambling, you should worry about their drinking. Uh, if it's a long walk from the boardwalk to the Borgata, well, you can't really walk there. The Borgata is on the edge of the bay, but it's not touching the boardwalk. You need to, yeah, and you certainly can't walk it from, now some people do walk by what they call Maryland, the back Maryland. There are gangs, like gangs that will use little boys as a gang initiation. I've talked about this before. My father, when he was 72 years old, he was stabbed in both of his hands by these little black boys, like 10-year-olds. Well, we don't know. Okay, we didn't see it, but he's guessing by their height. Stabbed my father in both his hands. My father was selling Buddy Poppies for the veterans, VFW, and he was on New York Avenue near a place called the Atlantic Palace. This was in broad daylight, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We were living up in the inlet at the time. My father came home. You're saying it's off the highway. Are you talking about the Atlantic City Expressway? Or are you talking about, there's a Black Horse Pike and there's a White Horse Pike, and I always get the two confused. One of them is what Albany Avenue turns into. I think that's Black Horse Pike. White Horse Pike, I believe, opens up into the Atlantic City Expressway, and I believe that is closer to the marina casinos. Since I haven't driven in a long time, I kind of process things the way somebody taking mass transit would. But even that, it's tricky because the route that New Jersey Transit takes to get to the marina casinos from Atlantic City, from, like, say, the Atlantic City bus terminal, is a different route than the jitneys take to get from Civic Avenue, which is where they run, to the marina. And it's on another thing. It's interesting. If you're taking public transit, there's only one direction that you can go to if you're going from Marina Casino to Marina Casino. But at least the jitneys run every 15 minutes or so. New Jersey Transit, I believe, is hourly. So if you're saving money by using New Jersey Transit, you got to wait a whole hour. And when it gets chilly, it gets really, the wind picks up. It's much colder by the marina because you've got the bay there. I can even tell you about the summertime when I'm at Golden Nugget watching a band play on the deck. And it may be the end of July, and you still want to have something to cover your shoulders. It gets chilly. Well, I'm glad you're not scared. If you're a young mafia guy, I hope you have a carry permit, which you probably don't unless you're a police officer. I know a thing or two about New Jersey's gun laws because I am an NRA associate member. And that associate member just means that I don't pay dues. And since I don't have a gun, why should I be paying dues, especially when I'm not what you call flush? But I do believe in the Second Amendment. But I also do believe that ignorance is no excuse for the law. And if you don't want a big felony on your ass and to be forever forbidden from your right to carry in any other state, don't get caught with a gun here in the state of New Jersey. It's not worth it. Even if you have a permit for another state, there is a big, well-publicized case of a lady. I think she may have been a school teacher, and she had a permit for a gun, and she not knowingly drove with it from Philadelphia across the state lines to New Jersey, got pulled over for something unrelated, and it caused her a lot of headaches. She was a lady who was very respectable, that had a really good job, and I think it impacted her uh, her being able to be a good mother to her kids. It was just this really bad thing that got national attention, further illustrating that New Jersey, just like we don't have reciprocal agreement for medical marijuana cards, even though New Jersey went legal. So after January, you could smoke them if you got them, and that's I'm real happy about. Okay. Oh, I am trying really hard to read what sounds like, I don't know. Let me look at this. MosinNagant. Yeah. Oh, this is really hurting my wrist. Oh, want to see something cool? I haven't worn rings for past couple of years. Ever since I got diagnosed with arthritis in my feet and my hands, I noticed that my left hand looks a little bit different than my right hand, and some of my fingers changed in shape, so rings are not as comfortable to me. But I decided to bring this out. I really love this ring. This is one of my absolute favorites. I got it in Los Angeles, and every now and then I bend it out of shape, and I have to hammer it round again. And this is my other ring. My BFF in Los Angeles gave this to me years ago. Oh, yes, we still have gangbangers in AC. Matter of fact, if I look out my window, I bet I can see some. For all I know, we may have gangbangers living next door. They always yell for somebody to open up the gate. There are so many people that have the keys to that gate. Matter of fact, speaking of gangbangers, a few hours ago, I was hearing a bunch of hammering and electric drill. Next door, there's a couple of families that live in a duplex, and they finally got so tired of the riffraff that they actually installed a gate and all this extra wooden paneling to make it so that they would have more privacy on their front porch and everything. And apparently people were giving away copies of the keys. People would hang out there and smoke crack, and they would watch everybody, and they would hide behind the wooden gate, and you wouldn't know that they were there. And I think the people that lived there decided that they didn't want crackheads hanging out on their porch, so they went and changed the locks. So yes, if you want to find gangbangers, go to where I live. They're right across the street. Half of them wear masks. If you're lucky, you get to watch somebody put a bunch of rocks down, and I mean crack rocks. I don't mean stones. They put them on the lids of cars. I feel bad for the people that park around here. You never know. You'd be surprised. These people hang out doing whatever it is that gangbangers do, and they leave their beers on the hoods of cars. Uh, so if your cars get scratched up, that's why. These people, they'll get on cars, they'll lean up against them, they'll sit on them, they'll put their dirty feet on them. I'd be pissed off if I had a car out there. Are they mean? They're gang members. Oh, I imagine they're nice to their friends. Now and then we hear gunshots. There have been gunfights outside, mostly I think drive-bys, but it's funny, you hear all these people talking and hanging out, then boom, 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 boom. Then it gets real quiet. But you don't hear any screaming, but I suppose that's good, because screaming might indicate that you witnessed somebody get shot dead. You know, you're right about the shark creatine. That sounds like something that my mother takes, MSM and chondroitin. Uh, I found some bottles of that stuff at the dollar store, and I was going to start taking it. But then she needed it more, so I figured that, considering that my mother is a lot older than I am, uh, half these supplements are so expensive. Uh, the supplements may be more than what you're how much what you're working for, and I would just assume what I'm working for. Take care of my electronics, take care of my skincare, take care of my makeup, take care of my bus fare when I go traveling. I do put things, I see things like that as an investment in my channel. If I travel, that enables me to make content that I think is important. And I would not, uh, the whole idea of filming anything or talking about anything is, I think it's important, and I think it's going to be of value to some people, whether it's an instructional thing or even some entertainment is welcome to people who need a break from all the stress, especially with COVID, and not only the health things, but the economic impact it has. That said, I hope you bear with me if I seem like I pick out all these different quirky subject matters. I'm hoping if I care about it, you will too. Sometimes you have things fall in your lap, certain opportunities, and if they're at all of a political nature, I think it will be definitely interesting to at least half of you. And those half of you who maybe are on the other side politically, with any luck, you will take the content kind of like you would with journalism, an opportunity to watch something without turning on your local news or CNN or Fox News Channel or whatever. One of the things that I really enjoy about witnessing history or being in those now dangerous crowds and seeing it, I find it very exciting. I find being around crowds to be energizing. It gives me a lift. Of course, now you have to worry about the safety of that, but you can't depict something, you can't show something unless you're there. And sometimes you need to be someplace and make yourself known to make a statement to the powers that be, or, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. All will be revealed later on this week. As for what time the streams are going to be or the actual videos, I don't know what's going to be live streams and what's actually going to be a video. I'm really not sure what format I'm going to do it tomorrow. It might actually just be a video. Saturday, I wish I could give you an idea of what time it is. I'm probably going to have to do a live stream, but also do an edited up thing. Some of the places where I'm going to be filming, there's not going to be Wi-Fi. A lot of the people that film use their cell phones, and they use their Wi-Fi that I guess is built into a cell phone or whatever time they pay for or something. And that's how they're able to live stream events. Like when people film inside the Trump rallies, you know, Secret Service is not going to be allowing them to bring big equipment. Computers, forget about it. But they usually do let them bring cell phones. So they use the cell phones to do live broadcasts. I can't do that because I don't have such equipment. So I'm just going to do what I can with the computer, but live streaming where there's no Wi-Fi just is not going to be possible. I'm going to have to edit something up, and I don't know whether I'm going to have time to do any of that editing when I'm there, assuming I do go. When was my last interaction with those gangbangers? Well, would you call it an interaction when I splash a little bit of water on somebody and they threaten to burn your house down? Is that an interaction? Or how's about when I was punched in the face by those two men? Of course, I should not assume they were gangbangers. Maybe they were just obnoxious dirtbags. Uh, let's see. There were some people that were very critical of the Trump stuff I was wearing yesterday, but again, I can't be sure they were gang members. But there are plenty of, when I have to use different exit from my apartment building so that I'm not seen by the gangs on one street, and it's pretty bad. I shouldn't have to do that. Between them and some church idiots that think it's okay to block someone's exit and they act offended when I boot them in the ass. You don't lean up against people's doors. That's really unnecessary. Hello, Abraham. How are you doing? Please, the sooner you're able to get out of Iran and be here in the West, the better you will be. I am so glad that we're friends, and I think it's really exciting that you and people like you who love freedom that are there in that part of the world are still able to access American content. I know that there are ways of doing it because you have to be safe. That's the bottom line. You have to do things in a way that is safest for you. Oh, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. It's getting hot. Oh, this is my fan. You know what? Maybe I can cheat a little bit and take this off. Oh, so if you're curious as to the maker of the suit, it's a company called Express. So it's not even a menswear label. But I would like my next suit to be a wider lapel. I really have a thing for wide lapels. And I'll give you a closer look at the shirt. Oh, and I see that YouTube is trying to censor somebody. If I was a police officer in the U.S., I'd put the guns in their ass. I don't know why YouTube thinks that I don't want this to be on there. I don't censor my streams unless somebody who is my enemy tries to say something that I don't want them to say. But, and you know what? I don't even know if, oh yeah, I suppose these dots on here, if, oh, Australia, oh, I want to, Michael Seymour, hello. I want to talk about Australia and guns, if I may. I want to preface this with, I have a few friends and acquaintances that live in Australia. One in particular I fell out of touch with. She's a travel agent. And I do worry about her, and I hope she's okay. Used to be, you guys did allow guns in Australia. And when the guns were taken away from the people, it resulted in some very serious things. The murders and the rapes and the violent crime really seriously increased when the guns were taken away from the people. If there are no guns available, then it doesn't matter to the criminals. The criminals can still find ways to get guns. However, law-abiding citizens are not going to have the guns if the guns are taken away. So what happens is the criminals who don't care about the things being illegal, they know that all of us law-abiding citizens are sitting ducks. And that's when the crime goes on unabated. Sometimes the only thing that stands behind a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. You can't always depend on the police to be there when you call them. Some places people live in, the response times, forget about it. So the better you're able to defend yourself, the safer you are. These states here in the United States that have practically, they have F ratings from the NRA because they have absolutely no gun rights at all. You can have a gun if you're a hunter. People do manage to get gun permits, but as far as carrying, which is where most of the crime would be, and say I had a gun safe and say I had guns here, I still don't think it would be worth it. But by the time you got it unlocked and loaded up and everything, it would probably be too late anyway. And if you did take a chance, assuming you didn't care about that felony and you're outside, you could easily have it wrestled out of your hand and used against you. That's why I really recommend that anybody that's contemplating buying their first firearm, please make sure to get lessons, get the training, stay in practice, go to a range, transport your firearms safely, research what exactly the requirements are, and follow the letter of the law. It's not worth getting in trouble for it. Just please, I'm not anti-gun, but if you're going to go that route, please do it safely. Research the law. The NRA website has probably up to the minute gun laws for all 50 states. Ignorance is not an excuse for the law. Learn what the laws are and do be safe. But I am not anti-gun. I should, you know what? I have filmed inside Caesars. The only thing discouraging me from doing more filming in the casinos is you have to be very, very discreet about it. I have gotten caught by security just taking innocent little selfies on the casino floor. That said, I have had casino employees take pictures for me, but it's not worth somebody getting fired from their job over it. If I had more discreet filming equipment, I do have a little tiny camcorder. I have to learn how to get off. I think it has, when I film on it, it shows a time and date, and it's not even the accurate time and date. I need to learn how to take it off of it so that when I film it doesn't show up. And I have tried looking at the instruction book, and my mother tried reading the instruction book, and it's written such broken English. I took it to Best Buy one time and I got them to explain to me just basic things like turning it on and turning it on video mode and stuff. But Oh, we have a, okay. Abraham says, we have a proverb that says that if a knife is in a person's pocket, he will definitely fight. That makes sense. Sometimes having something on you, you know you are facilitating something. That said, it's better to be prepared, and it's better to have something and not need it than to need something and not have it. That said, you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight, but you might bring a gun to a knife fight. But if you could talk yourself out of the fight or run away from the fight, then you'll live to fight another day, or live to try not to fight. But I do believe in self-defense, especially for people who are especially vulnerable. It's especially important for women to get trained in use of firearms and to carry if possible, considering the average size difference between women and men. And one thing, if everybody was armed, that would be the great equalizer. I think it's really cool that here in the United States of America, there are some towns where every adult citizen has to have a gun. You want to know how low the crime rate is in those places. Now, they're all in probably quite rural communities where I might not feel all that much at home. I really am a city person. I find cities to be very energizing, again, because of all the people. And plus, that means having a lot of people is much easier for single people because you have more of a gene pool to swim in, if you get my drift. Big cities also have more cultural diversity, at least with music, which is frankly what I'm most interested in, being able to find the music and the arts that I crave, and maybe some subcultures for good measure. But as far as other multicultural things, I don't know. I think sometimes when you don't have as much of a cultural identity, it's you have a little less of an identity. What are you going to use as your identifying yourself? Are you going to use the kind of government that you're a citizen of? And even that is obviously subject to change, as anybody that's gone through any presidential election between Democrats and Republicans would attest to. Okay, free socialized medicine. That is good, even though what's your taxes like? Uh, yeah, I would not want to live in a gun-free place. The best way for a government to control its citizens is to disarm them. The worst uh, despots were able to control their people by disarming them. I really wish Australia would get their guns back. You know how many women are needlessly raped because they can't defend themselves? Why should a person not be able to protect themselves against having their body violated? Are we supposed to just bend over and say, here, have at us? At least give us a way to protect ourselves. So, yeah, and all those places where they don't allow the citizens to be armed. I was really fascinated to learn that as much as the state of Israel is very advanced for having men and women in the military and for having mandatory military service starting when you turn 18, and yet, even though you have their military running the streets with their guns strapped to them, I understand that private citizens are disarmed. That kind of sucks. I would think when you're that close to all those countries that want your people dead, it would be better for all the citizens to be armed. That's just my opinion. And why they don't have it set up like that, I will never know. Don't you think that the population has a right to defend themselves against the terrorists? You got Hamas with their suicide bomb belts, and you got all kinds of people that are targeting the Jewish people. And what if you can't get somebody from the IDF to defend you? I would think it would be safer for the people to be able to defend themselves. Oh, Jicando, if that's pronounced right. I've never even heard of that. You know what? I want to plug this back in. My battery's down at 26%. So, and since I just touched something on the floor, I'm going to have to get alcohol now. Ooh, I just splashed alcohol on my screen. That wasn't too smart. I gotta see where Tabby Boy is. Let's see where Tabby Boy is. Let's see where Tabby Boy is. Where's my baby? Some cat. Where's my Tabby? Tabby Boy's not here. Cassie's not here. Oh, let me see where Cassie is. Oh, good. She has been drinking out of the toilet lately. I caught her yesterday balanced on the toilet seat, and she was, of course, I should have had everything down. Shame on me, but I was dumping the water that I have buckets that are in my grow room that when I water my plants, because our floors are warped, I have to have a way for the water to drip down. Anyway, Cassie was drinking in the plant water. And so sometimes I keep the toilet seat up so that I could dump the plant water in there. But yeah, I definitely like to film around there. I really like the horse statues on Pacific Avenue. I took some really awesome, if I do say so myself, pictures during a blizzard in front of the horses. This had to be like in 2011 or 2012 or something. And I'm pretty sure that if anybody is curious about these pictures, you can find them on my MySpace page, which is under my name. And the photo albums, everything's open to the public. You don't need to be my official friend on there to look at my photo albums. Yes, the soldiers have had hard training. I am a big friend. I'm a big fan of the IDF. If God made man, Sam Colt made him equal. Yes, and of course, I think that man made God kind of. I don't know. Who made who? That's just my theory. Just I'm just saying that judging. Well, it's not a judging thing. It's the more I've lived on this earth, the more certain things just don't make logical sense. And I only draw conclusions based on the information I have. I wish I had a kitty that I can get. Tabby Boy is hanging underneath my bed. Maybe if I get some more food, maybe he will. This is what they're eating now. He eats every bit up. Loves the food. Love, love, love. Num num. I'm not trying to call her. She can't hear. Him, he doesn't have any problem with his hearing. Got these two. Gosh. I guess he's not interested. Well, let's see. Yes, Caesars is beautiful. I don't think any of our casinos are ugly. Oh, Cassie's here. Cassie's here. What a beautiful little girl. Oh, look, I got. Look where I got. Oh, look, I got. Come on. What, you can't eat? Hey, excuse me. Why are you being like, oh, here, there. There's my Cassie girl. My Cassie girl. Oh, that girl. My baby. Look what I got. I got my baby. Oh, I got my baby. My Cassie. Oh, ooh, this is still unplugged. There. I was just told I was down to 21 minutes left of battery life. So now I'm plugged in and I'm charging. One thing, this does have pretty good battery life, I think. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Cassie, my baby. My pretty little baby. Oh, my Cassie. Pretty girl. One thing that I always stop and notice, there is a place that has baked goods. It's in the main, when you first check in, it's Caesars. It has all the smaller statues of the different Greek gods and stuff. There's this place, I don't know the name of it, but it's where you can get little pieces of birthday cake. And they're these ridiculously small slices. They want like $7 for. So if you were to buy a whole cake, it'd probably be over $100. But all these chocolate desserts and all these things, and uh, really expensive bags of potato chips of different flavors and things. The chips and things are so expensive. You know, I have never gotten close enough to price them, and I don't usually get close to the food that's in display cases, because then it looks like you're approaching the counter, and then the people that are working there think that they're going to make a sale, and I don't want to get their hopes up. So I've never really gotten that close. They have gelato. Now I like ice cream. I've never had gelato before. I think that's a creamier version of it or something. But I'm more of a chocolate kind of person as opposed to the fruity kind of things that they have on there. But the food is not cheap. But then again, considering the rent that even those kiosks and things have to pay to be in a casino, I don't expect that they're giving their stuff away. Um, Music, Texas has a lot of amazing music scenes. I heard Austin is a really important place culturally, and it's on my list of places to definitely check out when I'm driving around the country. Even though I am kind of unnerved at the idea of driving something as big as a bus, that actually sounds scary. The trying to see the with the blind spots that you have and stuff. I've never driven anything bigger than a sports car in my life, and I haven't driven in quite a while. I'm sure part of my fear is because I'm so used to not being able to see, and obviously I won't be able to get a driver's license until I get vision correction of some kind. I'm sure that that will bring my confidence back up. Cassie left. So sometime Thursday, I'm going to go on again, and I was thinking of maybe doing the video on the boardwalk, but I think I'm going to need to be here so that I could show things that I have in the house. That's, I think when I film outside, it's much more interesting, but you have to film where the props are. And I really don't feel like bringing a whole bunch of things outside, because then you have to worry about putting them on a surface that's sterile. And if it's windy, if there's people that are looky-loos that might interfere, you just never know. So sometimes filming outdoors can really be problematic. And then if I don't have the lavalier microphone, which I still haven't tested, by the way, those things only have a 6-foot long cord, but at least they make it easier to hear the speech when the wind is blowing. So I think I need to test them out and see if I shouldn't start using them, at least when I am outside. Because some people have complained about the audio when the wind blows and it makes that crackling sound up against the built-in microphone, which is here on either side of the webcam. That's where the microphones are on this Lenovo. I hate nylon string acoustic guitars. I had a Spanish classical that had nylon strings, and it was my first and only guitar that I, way before I had got this electric. And I never liked the sound on that guitar. And another thing about having a nylon string guitar, when you're first learning, you don't end up building up the proper calluses as quickly as if you had steel string. I would need a guitar that had a neck that was steel in order to handle steel strings. I never liked the sound of that guitar. Don't you know, when I left for California, my mother took that guitar and she gave it to somebody who wanted a guitar for their child that was taking lessons or something. So my mother used to have a Magnus organ that she got from her mother, and she ended up giving it away to one of my brother's friend's kids that was studying music in school. And something like that would have really come in handy for me later on, having more musical equipment and things. I do have a keyboard, but it's a children's keyboard that it was bought without an instruction booklet, and I hardly ever play with it. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to have to change. It's battery powered, and I'm probably going to have to change batteries on it. So I really find it frustrating when things don't have instruction manuals, and things are so high tech and so complicated anymore. So I think I'm going to be getting, I've been talking about how I wished I had a radio so that I could take it outside, so that I wouldn't be missing part of Rush Limbaugh's show when I go out to run errands and things. I think I may be getting a radio that I left by mistake behind. I may be getting that back soon. And I have headphones that I use with it and everything. I noticed that not all headphone jacks are the same size. I had some headphones that don't fit in this laptop or on the Chromebook. So, new strings every month. See, guitar playing in lessons, everything, it's all so complicated now. I don't remember it being that high tech and complicated when I was a kid. Well, first of all, there was no high tech when I was a kid. Okay. But still, I think that, and now one of the magazines I subscribe to is Pro Sound. Another magazine I subscribe to is Mix. I subscribe to all these industry publications, and most of it is beyond my pay grade, but I'll tell you, it gives you a bit of a crash course in things like music engineering and sound for nightclubs and concerts and things. Figured even if I understand 5% of what I'm reading, I'm still learning something. This is another magazine I subscribe to. If you didn't know already, there's ways that you can get magazine subscriptions that don't cost anything. I think in one of my earlier videos where I talk about ways to save money and things like that, I think I may have mentioned it, but the site is called either Survey Rewards or Reward Survey. I'm going to have to look again. And anyway, you fill out an easy survey a month and you get these magazine credits. And the magazine selection changes from month to month, but you get absolutely free. At one point, I had a subscription to the Wall Street Journal for half a year, and that was amazing. That was amazing. Wall Street Journal, for instance, has definitely something for everybody. It's not just financial news and things. There's human interest articles. It's all kinds of content. There's definitely something for everybody in that. But now I'm subscribing to a few other women's magazines, some industry publications. Sometimes you get add-on subscriptions that if you answer some questions and they think that you're legitimate, whatever the industry is, because I'm a YouTuber, that automatically qualifies me for a lot of things that broadcasters and stuff get. Another magazine that I get, it's called something broadcasting. You know what? Let's go in the kitchen. I could find it. It's definitely would be worth. Wait a minute. Is that here? Uh, okay, back in the kitchen. And no, I can't find it. Oh well. No Cassie girl. No kitties. What? Let me see if she's in the front room drinking something. Nope. Say hello to the plants. Hello, plants. Oh, I know what I should show you. I should show you tiniest little baby tomato. Look. Do you see it? And another one here. See that one right there? I don't know if you could see that or not. Well, she's not in here. I don't know where she went. All right, I don't want to bore you guys. I thought it was important at least to give you the COVID things, but I want to start show prep for what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I think I'm going to cut this short. Plus, I need to go run up to the Tropicana. So I hope that I gave you some news you could use at least. Thank you for all my friends that showed up. I really appreciate it. Michael Seymour, please stay safe in Australia. Thank you for tuning in. I have a great fondness for your country. I really wish I hadn't lost touch with the friends that I had there that I made on the internet. One of them, I don't know if he is in jail or if he's dead or what. I still remember when he first told me that voting is compulsory there. And he was somebody that was a conscientious objector from voting, and he was very much living on the fringes when we talked, and I haven't heard from him in quite a while. And usually when you don't hear from somebody for a long time, that's not good news. So anyway, I'm going to close for now. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I'd love to have you subscribe. I'm going to do my best to stick to my schedule and provide content that you guys like. Until then, please stay safe. Now I'm going to have to make this really, really small so that I could see to shut this off, because I really cannot see. Ah, okay. Let's see. Oh, now I got to make it even smaller. Okay. Now, I'm having a real hard time doing this. Oh, wait a minute here. No, I can't believe this. Thanks to that stupid banner ad, I'm having a real hard time. Please bear with me. Damn. I don't understand why a banner ad is keeping me from being able to turn this off. Here, I'm going to try it this way. I don't know how to do this, you guys. Oh, this is ridiculous. I can't shut this off because this ad is in the way. Guys, do you have any idea how to do this? This is ridiculous. Okay, maybe if I shut the computer down. Oh boy.